Now, C tutors will be discussing compound interest and compound amounts in this video lesson. Compound interest and compound amount is a financial mathematics that anybody in the field of financial studies or business studies need to have concentration in this video, because this is really your area. We shall be talking about compound amounts and compound interests. So when we talk about compound amount is the total accumulated fund after some years investment over a given amount invested. Like you deposited money in a bank and you leave the money there for like 3 years or 4 years, the money will not remain the same. When you come after 3 years, the value will change. That value after 3 years is what we call compound amount. Then the first money invested in a savings account is called the principal. Call it P. P is the principal. Principal is the first money invested in a savings account. Then after some years, that principal will turn to amount when you include interest. So by the time you say plus interest over that principal, you'll be getting the, what is it called, the amount. So if you invested 5,000, for instance, and after some years you have an interest of 300, what it means is that your total worth of investment now should be 5,300. Principal is the first money you invested. Interest is every investment bears interest. So include the interest or add up the interest to the principal, you get the total amount of the investment. So when these two things must come together to make meaning under compound amount and compound interest, or under time value of money. So when the principal grows and generates interest, you combine two of them, it will be called compound amount. And compound interest itself is compound amount minus principal. When you remove the principal from the amount you invested, it will give you the interest accumulated. Compound amounts have a general formula. This is a math that deals with formula, and you should understand that formula mathematics are very easy to handle. It's a question of what is the formula all about, then you can be able to resolve it. The formula says P bracket 1 plus R all raised to power n. You see, this is a very simple formula. A is equal to P bracket 1 plus R all raised to power n. So A is the amount. A is the compound amount. A is what you are really looking for. Compound amount. This is exactly what you are looking for. The compound amount. Then P is the principal. P is the principal, which I told you it is the money you invested. Any money you put in a savings account is called the principal. Then R is the rate of interest. Rate of interest. And this rate of interest is always given as a percentage value. The rate of interest is always given as a percentage value. That's when it is given, they will give it to you as a percentage. Let's say you have something like 5%. 5% simply means 5 all over 100, which is equal to 0.05. Then somebody can still give you 2%. You still do the same thing, which is 2 over 100. And when you divide this by calculator, you get 0.02. Now, what if you are giving something like 5 whole number 2 over 3% under rate? Watch what I'm going to do right now. See what you do. Use this 3 and multiply the 5, you get 15. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 2 is 17. You do 17 all over. We're supposed to have 3 here, but because of the percentage, convert this 3 to 300. So this should be 300. This is 300, so that I don't, this is over 300. And when you divide this by calculator, let me work on the calculator now. 17 divided by 300 from my calculator is 0.056. 0.0566666. So we can have something of this nature, 0.057. We just approximate it. So this is the value of R. Try to see the computations under this R, because they can trick you under the R. R is always established as a percentage value, so whatever you are giving, you should just divide by 100. But when R goes into mixed fraction, you just follow this system. Let's still see one more mixed fraction for R. You may have something of this nature. They may give you something like 33 whole number 1 over 3%. In this case, what we do here, we're still going to do it again. This 3 will multiply 33 to give us 99. Then plus 1 is 100. So we're having 100 over 3. Because we have a percentage value here, this 3 will turn to 300. And when this 3 turns to 300, you can cancel out. This 0 will die with this 0, and this 0 will die with this 0, and finally the answer runs down to 1 all over 3, and this becomes the result. So you just have to be very careful how you handle the R. Remember, we're talking about formula for compound amount, and we have given the formula as P bracket 1 plus R raised to power n, where A represents the compound amount, P is the principal, R is the rate of interest, which is established as a percentage. So you can be given 5%, 5% is 5 over 100. In fact, any percentage given to you divided by 100, and so on and so forth. So we can proceed. Then the other one is the N. N is the number of conversion period. Number of conversion period. Number of conversion period in the sense that you are talking about how long does it take you to calculate an interest? How long are you going to do your investment? How many years of investment do you want to do? So that is talking about, that one is talking about N. N is number of periods, number of years involved in a given investment. Now we are still talking about N under compound amount. N, which I told you that N is the number of conversion period, or how many years of investment. N goes in different ways. N can be yearly, N can be monthly, N can be thirdly, N can be quarterly, N can as well be weekly. they can equally tell you to compound continuously. Continuously. So you have to be very careful with n. If you are told to calculate n under yearly, that means yearly means 1, monthly means 12, thirdly means 3, quarterly means 4, weekly means 52. Then continuously will be discussed later because it has a different formula altogether. So whenever you're solving any question, be very careful the terms of conversion given in the question paper. If they did not tell you anything, that means you should just calculate yearly, and that's all. Yearly is only one, no conversion. Whatever that is given to you in the question paper, just use it like that. That is yearly. So if you're given 10 years, solve for 10 years. If you're given 20 years, solve for 20 years. If you're given 30 years, solve for 30 years, and so on and so forth. Then for monthly, if they give you, they say that the interest is compounded monthly. That means that your n here should be multiplied by 12. Whatever that is your n should be multiplied by 12. So which is 12n. Anything given to you in the question paper, you multiply it by 12. So if you are compounding for 4 years and it is compounded monthly, the question give you 4 years, but the question said compounded monthly. That means you will do 4 times 12, which is equal to 48 times. That is what you are solving for. If they give you 3 years and it is compounded monthly, that means you do 3 times 12. And that one will give us 36, and so on and so forth. If they say compounded thirdly, that means you are multiplying n, whatever that is your n should be multiplied by 3. So if they give you 10 years and it is to be compounded thirdly, that means that 10 will be multiplied by 3, and that will give us 30. If you are giving 20 and it is to be compounded thirdly, you now say 20, which is given to you, you multiply it by 3 because of thirdly. Then the answer becomes what? 60. You use 60 to solve your question. The same thing happens to quarterly. If you are giving 4 years, compounded quarterly, 4 years is given to you in the question, but it should be compounded quarterly. That means that you should do 4 years that is given to you times quarterly means 4, which is 4. And the answer gets down to 16. So whatever is given to you in the question, if it is quarterly, you multiply by 4. If it is weekly, you are multiplying by 12. If they give you 3 years compounded weekly, you just say 3 times 52. And that becomes your answer. Whatever you get here becomes your answer. And let's check with from calculator now. 3 times 52 is 156. So you are compounding this for 156 times. That's what it means. I told you I'll talk about this alongside as we are discussing this video. Remember that this is C Tutors Academy talking to you. You can always call my number to receive any of my video files. At your doorstep, you can learn and understand any topic of your choice in maths, account, economy, statistics, taxation, cost accounting, management accounting, quantitative techniques. Mention your management course or financial course that involves calculation. Then meet C Tutors for the solution. Call C Tutors number, WhatsApp him, tell him that you need this topic or the other topic. It's just a little amount of money you will pay, and these topics will get to your doorstep. Then you learn at your own convenience. By the time you put your earpiece into my videos, you understand what I'm talking about. So keep subscribing to C Tutors videos and enjoy yourself. C Tutors is talking about compound amount and compound interest in this video. Try to enjoy the video. All I'm discussing here is just n. N is the number of conversion period, which can be given in yearly, monthly, thirdly, quarterly, weekly, continuously. No matter what is given to you, you can always resolve it following the principles and the rules and regulations involved. Now, I'm going to refer you back to R, because R will still have its own conversion. R. R have its own conversion. Remember that I told you that R is the rate of interest. The rate of interest. Because they can still tell you compounded monthly, quarterly, yearly, semi-annually, or something. So let's come back to R. R is the rate of interest. Which I told you that is always established as a percentage value. And R can be compounded monthly, just as we have it in N. We can have monthly, we can have quarterly, we can have semi-annually. Semi-annually means twice a year. We can equally have thirdly. We can have weekly. Whatever you have, just try to master the conversion involved. Remember that in N, we will multiply by the conversion period, but in R, you have to divide. If R is compounded something like monthly or monthly for R, you just say R divided by 12. So whatever that is given to you as the rate, you divide it by 12, and the answer will still be in percentage. So if you are giving something like 3% compounded monthly, you will just say 3 all over 12%, which is equal to, from calculator you press 3 divided by 12, 3 divided by 12, and you get 0.25%. So having 0.25% here. So the final answer should be, you divide this 0.25 by 100, which is 0.25 divided by 100, and that will give you your final answer under R, which we will use in solving the question. So when you divide this by 100, you'll be having 0.25 divided by 100. That will give us 0.003. 0.003. So that becomes the answer to this. Then if it is quarterly, whatever that is given to you as R, we divide by 4. So if the rate of interest given in the question is 10% and is compounded quarterly, that means you should say 10 divided by 4. And 10 divided by 4 will give us 10 over 4 from calculator. Again, once more, 10 divided by 4 will give you 2.5%. And that 2.5%, you should just divide it by 100. This is 2.5. You put your percentage value, which should be 2.5 all over 100. What am I trying to say? Anything that have to do with R should be divided by 100, but if it is N, you multiply by 100. Then whatever you get, use it to solve your question. So in compound amount, you just have to be conscious of the rate of interest and conscious of the number of years given to you. Any number of years given to you, if it is yearly, you don't have any problem. But if it is anything outside yearly, like monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, thirdly, weekly, continuously, and so on and so forth, for any you multiply by number of times. I've given you that. I told you already that monthly is 12, quarterly is 4, semi-annually is 2, thirdly is 3, weekly 4. So if it is number of years, you multiply, but if it is the rate, you're looking for the rate, you divide. Then after getting these figures, you now apply the formula to resolve your mathematics. So these are the techniques involved in compound amount. Now, to clarify what we are really talking about here, let's just look at this question. Let's try to analyze the question to help us understand better. A man, let's say that a man invested the sum of 20,000 naira in a savings account which pays interest at the rate of 11% for 7 years, compounded semi-annually. And the question now says determine the total investments. Determine the total investment Now go through this question with me and see how we're going to resolve this right now, following what we have learned so far. A man invested the sum of 20,000 in a savings account which pays interest at the rate of 11% for 7 years, compounded semi-annually. Determine the total investment. Total investment here have to do with the total amount after 7 years. But what you should start looking at now are the two things I told you about. Solution. We shall start looking about those two things I told you, which is N and R. Whenever you are given a question, be conscious of your N and R. And if you look at this question, we are given 7 years. N is equal to 7 years from the question paper. And the question says we should compound it on semi-annually. And semi-annually means twice a year, which is 2. And I told you that whatever that is your N should be multiplied by number of conversion period. We are compounding this twice a year, so this N should be times 2 to give you what we use to solve the question, which is 14 years. So when we apply formula now, we're going to use 14 years. If you use 7 years, you will fail because the question says compounded semi-annually. Then another one is R. R is the rate of interest. You have to be very careful. We are giving 11% here, and 11% is 11%. We're going to divide this 11% by 2 again, because I told you that R should be divided by and N should be multiplied by. So when you say 11 divided by 2%, because they said compounded semi-annually, if you divide this 11 by 2, you will get 5.5%. And when you divide this by 100, which is 5.5 all over 100, that will give us from calculator we'll be getting 0.055. So these are the two things we have. We have gotten N to be 14 years. Actually, what was given in the question is 7 years, but it's compounded semi-annually. That's why we multiply by 2 to get 14 years. Then R is 11%. Compounded semi-annually, you are dividing by 2. Just note that for N you multiply, for R you divide. When you do this, you get these two values, and the remaining item is the P. P is the money invested. When you scroll up, you check the amount invested in this by this man. A man invested the sum of 20,000. So this 20,000 is the P. So we're going to put the P, and after that we establish our formula. P is 20,000. We have P to be 20,000. So at this point, we can now use the formula. We're looking for the amount or the total worth of investment. The formula is A equal to P bracket 1 P bracket 1 plus R raised to the power N. So in this case, we now substitute A should be equal to P, which is 20,000, bracketed 1 plus R is now 0.005, 0.055, 0.055. Then we'll close up. Then we'll raise everything to power n, and n now is 14 years. So 14 will be coming up here. We have 14. 14 years. Let's try to put it very well. 14, 1, 4. Now the next thing is to add the numbers in the bracket. We shall be having bring down this A, bring down 20,000. We have not changed anything. I'm trying to change the value inside the bracket right now. Then when you press your calculator, 1 plus 0.055, when you add this, to be getting 1.00, no, just 1.055, all raised to power 14. And that will take us to the next step. The next step will be, we're going to raise this 1.055 to power 14, and at the end we'll multiply by 20,000. We are almost at the point of our answer. So A should be equal to 20,000 bracketed. We have to raise 1.055 to power 14. From calculator, 1.055 raised to power 14. I'm having a 2.116 to 3 decimal places. You can have it to 4 decimal, you can have it to 5 decimal, you can have to 6 decimal, wherever you want to put it, you put it. But the perfect place is supposed to be 4 decimal, which is 2.1161. So we're having a 2.1161 from calculator. Then the next is to multiply these two values and get our final answer. So A should be equal to 20,000 times this. We can leave this to 2 decimal places. Let's go to the calculator right now. 20,000 times 2.1161, and this will give us 42,322 naira. So this should be the final answer, 42,322.00. You can take this to be the final answer. This is the total worth of investment. The only thing difficult in what we did now is the little conversion we did in N and R. Our N and our R. Once you get that place, the math is solved. Actually, we are giving 7 years, but they said compounded semi-annually. That's what multiplied by 2 to get 14 years. If you check very well, from when we start solving the question, we use 14 years. Then R is to 11%, we divide by 2. Why do we divide by 2? Because they say semi-annually. If you divide 11 by 2, it will give you 5.5%. And because of the percent, you divide by 100 to get 0.055. Then apply this in the formula, and that will take us to the promised land of what you are doing. So this becomes the answer. 42,322. This is just an example 1. So follow this system to solve a lot of questions in exams, in quiz, in assignments, and so on and so forth. We are still resolving compound amounts and compound interest. This is just the beginning. Call the number on the screen, or call the number you have at the earlier part of this. That is the main tutor. That is the tutor's phone number. You can get him direct. You can WhatsApp him to receive any of his video online and make yourself happy at home. Use your earpiece and enjoy yourself. So I'll see you in the next exercise under this compound amount.